Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargava. Welcome to Tit-Bits on Business and Finance with me. Ever since President Donald Trump, in his own very unilateral manner, invoked the sanctions on Iran all over again, the world oil markets have been in a state of tension and turmoil. Countries like India, which have been very heavily dependent on oil imports from Iran, had to stop importing the oil, even though the US did assure India that such disruption will be taken care of. But the real impact that was there was oil prices did go up. That also created tensions in the Middle East, political tensions between forces led by Saudi Arabia and forces led by Iran. And as part of that, about 6 weeks ago, we had a drone attack on a crucial oil pipeline of Saudi Arabia. It again created major panic in world oil markets, but that was soon taken care of. But then, on this last weekend, came a massive drone attack on two oil refining facilities of Saudi Aramco, the flagship oil entity of the Saudi Arabian government. And because of that attack, the refining capacity of Aramco has been sliced by half, and that means a major disruption in world oil exports. Saudi Arabia supplies 5% of the world's oil, and with half its capacity being thrown out of gear, it actually means that the oil markets are now going to be in tension. Resultantly, yesterday, the Brent crude prices, the benchmark of oil prices in the world, shot up by 20% in a single day, the highest since the 1991 Gulf War. Of course, it did subside a little later because of assurances given by various other countries that they would make up for the disruption in oil supplies of Saudi Arabia, but that is not enough to cool down the markets. The oil price barrel at the moment is $66 a barrel, and experts like Goldman Sachs say it could even go up to 75 in the near term, and negative soothsayers say it could be up to $100 a barrel. Immediately after this drone attack, a rebel group in Yemen, the Yemen Houthi group, they claimed responsibility for the attack and they said they are behind it. Saudi Arabia denied it. It has not blamed anyone so far. The US very quickly blamed Iran for it, and President Donald Trump said that his missiles are loaded and logged to attack Iran whenever. And in retaliation, while Iran denied its hand in this entire drone attack, its Revolutionary Guard said that all the US bases and aircraft carriers are within the range of its missiles. The likes of Russia and China sought to cool it down and said it is too early to blame anybody, despite the fact that the Iran-backed Yemeni Houthi rebels, they claim responsibility for this attack. The UK said it is looking into the matter, and the US, of course, continues to stringently blame Iran for this attack on the Saudi facilities. For India, this is a matter of concern because we import almost 85% of our crude oil. We produce just 15% of our demand, and any disruption means severe economic consequences for India at a time when our economy is already facing a major slowdown. The statistics say that even just $1 increase in the oil price means India's import bill goes up by $1.6 billion a year. And thus, if the oil price goes up by $10 a barrel, it means our oil import bill goes up by $16 billion a year, something that is most avoidable at this time of the Indian economy. And if oil prices go up, it means a whole host of downstream negative side effects for the Indian economy. And what are they? The first one, the dollar will shoot up, the rupee will weaken, and that means inflation goes up in India because imports will become expensive. India's current account deficit will widen even further, and the rupee will be on a negative weakening trend. So the first, the dollar will certainly strengthen. The second, because of that, is our oil import bill will go up. As I said, just $1 increase means the import bill goes up by $1.6 billion. And at the moment, we are talking about an oil price increase which could be more than $10 a barrel. That would have a serious negative impact on India's current account deficit. Inflation will shoot up. It will only add to the woes of the common man, and resultantly, consumer demand is bound to go down. While in the immediate run, experts say India's petrol and diesel prices could go up by rupee 1 to a litre in the immediate run. Experts say it could go up by even 5 to 6 rupees a litre, and that would immediately send consumers spending into a downward tailspin, something that we can ill afford at a time when the government is desperately trying to revive consumer demand and revive the economy. Thus, if this entire disruption of global oil supplies is not restored immediately or within a foreseeable future, you can expect a slowdown to worsen. And what we need to bear in mind is, while optimists like to say that this is going to be rectified very soon and normalcy will be restored, but Saudi Aramco itself says it could take months before any kind of a normalcy is restored. And that statement becomes very serious because so far Saudi Arabia has been the supply of the last resort in global oil supplies, and this supply of the last resort at the moment is now handicapped because of this major drone attack on its oil facilities. Coming further, airfares in this festival season are expected to go up by 10 to 15% with a surge in petrol and oil prices. And when this kind of a situation occurs, the prices of precious metals like gold and silver shoot up because gold becomes in demand. Gold is seen to be the final reassuring investment for any investor, and gold prices are bound to go up. And while gold prices go up, the stock market prices will certainly weaken. They are open in a weak situation today, and uncertainty will ensure that the Indian stock market prices continue to be listless or they are only on a downward trajectory. The government has been trying to say that India has strategic reserves which will be utilized to look after the situation. We really don't think so. India has strategic reserves to the tune of 5.33 million barrels, and at the moment, just 55% of it has been filled. These oil reserves are more of meant for a national emergency, and there is no national emergency taking place because of this particular Saudi Arabian disruption. It is certainly going to be an economic crisis, but not a national crisis. India doesn't have some very deep and extensive oil reserves that the government will be able to release it for this particular purpose. And then, with Imran Khan all the time doing war mongering, these reserves are meant for a strategic national defense purpose, and we don't think they will be released, even though the government might want to say that. The attack on the Aramco facilities is not good news for Reliance. Aramco had said that it's going to take an up to 25% stake in the Reliance refinery at Jamnagar. Of course, that was just an announcement that was made. But now, with this attack on Aramco, two things will happen. Its perceived or proposed investment in Reliance is bound to be delayed. And so is going to be delayed the IPO of Aramco, which has been a much sought after event, not just by Saudi Arabia, but also by the global investment bankers who see it to be possibly the biggest IPO ever. So Aramco IPO gets delayed. And all this uncertainty will only get more aggravated in case there is a military retaliation and intervention against either Iran or against the Yemeni Houthis led by the US. If that happens, then uncertainty is only going to shoot up. More and more attacks are likely on each other's oil facilities, which will only disrupt global oil supplies even more. So uncertainty will continue. It will continue for months, and anybody reassuring an immediate solution to this crisis is only giving words which even he probably does not believe in. This attack is going to be good in terms of prices for those countries which hold surplus oil, and that includes the US and Russia in particular. Both of them are holding surplus oil, and with Saudi Arabia's capacity going out of the market, it certainly means that these countries will face good demand for oil. And if oil prices keep going up, that's good news for oil companies in US and in Russia. The larger picture that we would want to see is, why is it that Saudi facilities are coming under this kind of an attack? Saudi Arabia is very well fortified, defended, and protected by forces of America. They have strategic military tie-ups, and this never happened all this while. Even in the Gulf War, Saudi facilities were not attacked. And how is it that the Yemeni Houthi rebels, which are supported by Iran, are managing to carry out such audacious attacks on the Saudi facilities? We think there is something missing here in this analysis. And that, according to us, could be that these are signs of some kind of an internal turmoil in Saudi Arabia itself. Prince Mohammed bin Salman is not short of domestic adversaries. You will recall he had blocked and arrested all his major adversaries in a hotel a couple of years ago or probably last year. And those were powerful elements in the Saudi bureaucracy, family, and politics. You never know. These attacks, these audacious drone attacks on Aramco facilities could be signs of a burgeoning Saudi domestic internal turmoil. And if that is what it is, then we are heading to a major turmoil in global oil markets, in global politics, in the Middle Eastern region, which anyway is always a tinderbox, always ready to catch fire. This is Akhilesh Bhargava signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.